Hi guys! Look, I found a hat that I'd totally forgotten about and thus didn't wear during my first year of filming videos of Bookish Brits. I don't know how I forgot about this hat because I love this hat. When I first got it, I used to wear it all the time. Anyway, on to the topic of today's video. Today I'm going to do the social media book tag, which actually was one of the tags that Michelle suggested that she and I do when we filmed our video in Green Park at Picnic YA in summer. She brought this one and the Would You Rather tag along with her as ideas, and I thought that we should do the Would You Rather tag because it doesn't involve actual book titles, so I thought that I could come up with the answers on the spot. Whereas a social media book tag, I've actually had to put some thought and planning into. Michelle did do this tag on her own channel, but as I haven't really got my own channel started yet, I thought I'd do it here on Bookish Brits, and it could have been a tag if I was able to think of book titles quickly on here anyway. So enough rambling. Let's go. All the questions are themed around different social media platforms. And the first one is Twitter. For Twitter, I have to name my favourite short read. My favourite short read is All My Friends Are Superheroes by Andrew Kaufman. I'm experimenting with this new thing where I actually move the book close to the camera so you can see the book. Like normal booktubers do. This is actually the extended, expanded anniversary edition, now with even more superheroes, which is what it says here. I actually haven't read this copy. This was bought for me by my boyfriend as a Valentine's Day present after he saw me going, "Oh my god, new expanded edition with even more superheroes," in the British Library shop. When we went there for the comics exhibition earlier in the year. Because I have a million books to read, not quite a million, but it's close enough for all practical purposes, have not got around to reading this edition yet. However, I had read the earlier edition and I love it. It's really funny and sweet and romantic. Basically, it does what it says on the tin. It's about a guy called Tom who all his friends are superheroes. Literally all of them. Even his new wife is a superhero. The Perfectionist. And the Perfectionist, or Perf for short, gets hypnotised by her ex-boyfriend Hypno, whose name does what it says on the tin as well, into not being able to see Tom. It's just great. And it's really, 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 really short. Next up is Facebook, and for that I've got to name a book everyone pressured me to read. I think the most recent example of a book that everyone said you must read this was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. It's a miracle that I managed to not read it until it was the Bookish Brits book club read. To be honest, I don't own a copy. I got it from the library originally. I want to buy a copy. I'd quite like that special UK hardback edition, you know, the one with the illustrations on the inside. So yeah, might put that on my Christmas list. Next up is Tumblr, and I have to pick a book that I read before it was cool. So obviously I have picked The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks by E. Lockhart. As you know from my guide to E. Lockhart's books for British readers, I read and loved E. Lockhart's books way before We Are Liars became such a massive phenomenon. So there. And I'll put the link somewhere around here if you want to click and go watch that video. I recommend that you do, because I love E. Lockhart, she's fantastic. And her books are all really varied, so if you've read one and didn't like it, there'll be another one for you somewhere in her backlist. Next up is MySpace, and for this one I had to pick a book I couldn't remember if I liked. Is that the right way of phrasing it? Not sure, but let's carry on. For that I picked almost immediately Pretty Things by Susan Compo. I thought of this book immediately because I've been going through my books and trying to persuade myself that I should give some away because I just have so many and they're taking up so much space, and I think I should try to be more selective about those I hold on to, because, you know, I can always buy them again if I suddenly find myself with a desperate desire to own them. And a lot of them I could get from the library if I really wanted to read again, and they just take up a lot of room. But anyway, I have passed Pretty Things on the shelf, and I just don't remember whether I liked it at all. Like, I didn't give it away as soon as I finished reading it. It was just that I liked it more than I disliked it, but I don't know that I really liked it, because surely I would remember, you know, anything about it. So, yeah, that's my book that I'm not sure that I liked. It is really short though, there's just over 200 pages, so I might read it again and decide whether to keep it or give it away based on a reread. Next up is Instagram, a book that was so pretty I had to take a picture of it straight away. Now this one I've got to fudge a little bit. I picked the Bookshop Book by Jen Campbell. You might be interested to know that I have an interview with Jen coming up on my blog later this week, so keep an eye out for that. And if you're watching this after my post has gone up, I will put the post link in the description box so you can find it there. As you can see, this is a very pretty book. Oh, look at that. The cover, the dust jacket, is so lovely that I've been carrying it around without it so that I could read it on the train. I've just been putting the naked book into a plastic bag and carrying it around all the time with me. Anyway, the reason why this is a bit of a fudge is because I did not take a photo of it straight away. It came on a day when I had work and I didn't get home till after it got dark, and I didn't want to take a picture of the book in artificial light because it never looks as nice. So instead I waited like a couple of weeks until I was at home and it was sunny and I could take a picture of the book in daylight. It was so pretty I had to wait, which doesn't quite meet the criteria of this particular item in the tag, but never mind. It's a pretty book, you've seen it, that's the main thing I think. Next up is YouTube! And for that I had to pick a book that I would like to see made into a film. And for this I've picked another pretty cover, Under the Never Sky. Look in the back, it's pretty. Oh, I'm so annoyed that I did not make the other two books in this series much. The first one, I was discussing this with my best friend who came over and was looking at my bookshelves, and I was telling her about different books. Too good of me. She thought they should have made covers that matched this one rather than the style covers, which are not that great. I don't know, they're just a bit, you know, it's not like they're ugly. They're just not as striking and unique as this one. Anyway, Under the Never Sky had actually been optioned for film, and I really hope that it gets made into a film because it has so many amazingly described locations which would look great on film. I suppose it would be good visually for kind of the same reasons that The Hunger Games works visually, because you've got the contrast of different places and different ways of life. You know how in The Hunger Games you've got Katniss's home district and the capital and the arena, and in Under the Never Sky, Arya has lived all her life under a dome indoors, and only visiting other places through this kind of virtual reality that everybody uses because the real world they live in is just so dull and bland. She is kicked out of the dome and she goes on this quest to find her mother. She meets Perry, the other protagonist, who's always lived outside. And she has to go through the real world, but everything is so much more vivid and real, but at the same time less decadent. And she goes to all these different places, and cities, and the ocean, and kind of tribal enclosures, and it just would look amazing. So I really hope it does get made into a film. I kind of don't hold out much hope, because so many YA books get optioned for film. They haven't all done well. You know, so I wonder if film studios are kind of going to back off way a bit. Anyway, back to the tag. I've got one more to do, and that is Goodreads, a book you recommend to absolutely everyone. I tend not to do really broad recommendations, except for my general recommendation of E. Lockhart. But lately, I have been pushing White Cat by Holly Black. I think I've mentioned this in a couple of other videos recently, so I won't bang on about it for too long, but it's just gorgeous. It's a fantastic series starter. I have now read the other two books in the series, and they're not quite as amazing, but I think that has more to do with how amazing it is when you first introduce this world and you think, wow, this is such a good idea, and obviously you don't have that in the second and third books because you already know the rules and you already know who the people are. If you haven't read Holly Black before, I would definitely recommend you check that out because it's really different and fun and brilliant, just generally. And also, if you have read Holly Black before, if you've read the Modern Fairy Tale series and didn't like it that much, read that because it's a lot tighter. I did like the Modern Fairy Tale series ultimately, but I prefer White Cat. Except for Valiant. I still really love Valiant. I don't really have anyone to tag because I am kind of still in the early phases of finding booktubers. I don't think I've really made that many booktube friendships. There's quite a few I watch, but I haven't really talked to them that much. I keep meaning to check out some of the Bookish Brits commenters more. I've just been so busy lately. I'm trying to finish 3 novels. It's just a world of writing in here. So I think I'll just generally tag again the other Bookish Brits, and also my friend Claire, Claire Rousseau on YouTube, who has started her booktube channel within the last few months, and I think it would be really fun to see her do this tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and you'll see me in a couple of weeks. Bye!